Alright guys, we're here with Hugh, and Hugh's doing Circle, so Hugh, tell us all about your 15 points.
Hey guys, this is my Circle Army. I chose Grail, the Far Strider, as my Warlock. He just seems like a fun caster to me. He's one of those you want to keep up front. He can definitely do some damage to even a full unit on the board with 2 initial attacks, side steps, and then sprint away. Not to mention he's got stealth, so they'll have to get in pretty close to take some shots at him. You can see the 2 War Beasts in the back. You've got the Warpwolf Stalker as well as the Pureblood. They've got some great synergies together. Stalker can give sprint as well, so they can both eventually just sprint away. Not to mention he's got Prowl, so he can get up close to front, and Berserk is awesome. You can just send him into a full unit, and as long as he keeps hitting, he'll tear him apart. Pureblood's nice. He's got some range, 10-inch spray, and then not to mention he also, as a leader of the Warp Wolves, he can give Ghostly to both of them. They can warp and just ignore free strikes and terrain. Also, you see the stones, which are nice because you can teleport your units even past the lines, and it's something that they won't see coming most of the time. Not to mention they can also heal your wolves and the caster, and also help manage some fury, reducing like 1 fury point off of them. Overall, I mean, I chose this unit just because it seems like a lot of fun. It's also kind of like a toolbox unit. No really standard way to play them. It's a lot of fun. I went with a dark colored scheme just because I like the black colors. I see them in the woods most of the time and think of them as almost like a stealth unit. So that's about it.
Alright guys, so that was Hugh, and we'll be back with the next one. Alright guys, I'm here with Joe, and Joe's doing Legion, so I'm going to let Joe take it away.
Hey guys, I'm going with Legion because that's my favorite faction. I traditionally have been a Riot/Callus player, and I wanted to do something different. It's kind of neat having a 16-inch control area. That's a little unusual for me. Going with Eval, going tiered. I've only got the 1 heavy, as you can see, but that's to keep it in tier. The pot is awesome with her. The Legionnaires are there. Her tier list, as it grows, I think it's stronger. It may be a little weak at 15, we'll see, but as it grows, it's certainly a strong list, and it kind of builds itself. When you look at all the tiers out there, the different ways people are running Val, they're very, very similar. There just seems to be auto-include things with it. My paint scheme is kind of a classic. I went with more of a permafrost for the bases instead of trying to do snow effects. I've never really had good result with snow effects. The biggest difference you'll see in my paint scheme will be the beasts themselves. Just with the, I guess, the fluff of the beasts coming from the caster's blood, I want them to look more like, I wanted their skin to be more like the actual warlocks. And so that's why I went with the off color, or the kind of reversed color for the heavies. And I think it turned out well. So this is me at 15, and I guess stay tuned for our first battle report.
Alright, hey guys, it's Rich from the Player's Handbook, and for my army for the Total War Escalation, I chose to go with Signar because part of me has always liked the boys in blue. So I decided to go with Peace Striker. I feel like he's kind of underrated by a lot of people, and he's very toolbox, which is it's pretty nice. You know, if you want to have options, and that's kind of my playstyle. I like to have options. So I got Peace Striker there, and I chose for my battle group Old Rowdy, which you got to take if you take Striker. The bonuses for being in base to base are nice, and Rowdy's just a really, really good jack anyway. You know, Mat 8, Power Strength 18 Hammer. He's aggressive, so he can charge and run for free. It's really nice stuff. The Lancer is obviously there for Arcane Earthquake, Arcane Blast if needed. And for my support at 15, I took a unit of Arcane Tempest Gun Mages because I really like the new resculpt of the models, enjoyed painting them, and also, you know, on the battlefield, they're a very versatile ranged unit. I would have really liked to have got the UAN at 15, but I just did not have the points for it. As far as painting, I went with some resin bases from Secret Weapon Miniatures, if you can see those. I got some water effects on there, painted them up really nice. Other than that, you know, I went with a pretty standard Signar paint scheme. Went a little lighter on the blue, which I just like lighter blue, and you know, for the metallics, pretty much the same, but I did add a little more khaki white color in because I think it helps make the blue pop. So guys, this is Rich, that was me, and we'll be back with the next guy.
Alright, guys, it's Phil. I'm pulling out my Scorn for this series here. You've seen probably most of it unpainted, so for me it was a reason to get back into the faction, get painting going. Hexorus has always been one of my favorite casters, and so when Epic Exorcist came out, Lord Arbiter Exorcist, I just felt like I wanted to play him again. And well, his name's Lord Arbiter Exorcist. It's probably the coolest title you can give to a caster to start with. But in my list there, I've got 2 heavies. I got the Gladiator for the all-around Animus beat stick, and then I've got the Cannoneer for you there, which is going to be bonded to Hexers to use as an arc node. I figure, why put a light out when I can put a 32 or 34 hitbox Titan out there? It's still a Titan. Can dish it up in melee if need to. And then since beasts, I picked 2 expensive beasts, I went and pulled a min unit of Praetorians out. Swordsman there, because I'm going to actually be playing his tier list throughout, so you get to see that build. So it's going to be tier 1 up until, I believe, 35 points, when it will jump up to tier 3. So I'm a little worried about 15 small model count, not a lot of stats. I'm going to have to rely on my beasts, and I don't have a lot of the buffs that Scorn can give out. As you see, there are no beast handlers or extollers or any of the other fun little tricks that I can pull it yet, but that all comes, when I move the list on forward. But I'm just looking forward to seeing it. Warmachine armies scare me a little bit more than Hordes armies because Hexor's feet won't be as effective, but at 25, 35, and 50 points I'll have a way around that as well, so this should be fun. I'm looking forward to getting back into my Scorn.
Alright, so thanks for here with the next Total War segment. This one is Jeremy Combs running Farah, so he's going to tell us about his 15 here.
Alright, I got a Gunbore, a Warhog, I got the Min Unit Brigands, I got Targ, and I got Strum and Drang. I picked the red and blue just because, I would think they'd take Khador and Signar Metal and fuse it to their beasts. I think they did a pretty good job on the paint job. Also, I'm running the Thornfall Alliance, so all my units, the whole time we do the escalation, will get advanced play. That's pretty much it.
You don't want to talk about why you took anything you took?
Oh, yeah, because Russian Brine, when they came out, I thought they were really cool, and I still use them with even with my Merc stuff, because they can run with Mercs. But when they came out for the actual faction, I knew I had to get them.
Alright guys, so we'll be back with the next Total War clip. Alright guys, we're here with Chad now, so Chad's going to tell us about his army.
I decided to play Minoff because I thought it looked pretty cool from a while back, and it was something different. I chose to run Farah because, well, first of all, she's a Weapon Master caster, and as you can see, her model is pretty awesome. She's running the Blood of Martyrs because it is her personal warjack, and a Vanquisher, as well as Nisia as a solo, and then a unit of Racks. But it's mainly going to be all infantry all the time because it's something different for me as opposed to either heavy jacks or heavy war beasts that I'm used to running.
Anything else?
I think that's about it.
Alright guys, we'll be back with the next.
Alright, this is Daniel here, and I'm playing the Khador and the video series. Khador was my first faction. I picked them because of their Russian themes. That's what I went for when I started playing Warmachine. For Eve Vlad, I picked him more of a personal grudge against another player in a tournament, and I realized I needed to be more competitive and aggressive, so I was using this video series as a way to play test my next list. So here's a heads up if you ever play me in the next tournament. Vlad I picked because I hadn't played him before. He seemed really cool. I hadn't really too much interest in him until I read about his feat, and then one of my favorite models from Wrath was the Chaos Eliminators here, and combined with his feat, they just have a ridiculous threat range of 13 inches, not including sidestep, and if they combo strike with Gang, they get a power strength of 18 on the feat turn, which is just a little broken, seemingly, but it's not. It really isn't. For my 15-point list, I included a unit of the Eliminators. I have my War Dog, which is a proxy in from Reaper Mini, Drago, I've got Epic Vladimir, and then a mini unit of Chaos the Assassins with the Underboss. Just basically as much high defense with Gang I can cram down in the list. It's actually only 14 points. Just with the escalation, it didn't really work any other way. But in terms of strategy, I try to exchange my feat term for hopefully either caster kill or destroying most of a battle group. Especially if it's a Hordes player, I generally will try to go after a battle group and not the caster. It just depends on what the game plays out. For Vladimir, I usually always try to keep all 3 of his upkeeps going, which sometimes it's bad because he only gets 5 focus left over, but it's a equivalent exchange in my opinion. But look forward to y'all watching more of my games, and we'll see what happens.
All right, man. Thanks, Daniel. All right, guys, we're here with Big Matt. Matt's running Mercs. He's going to tell us about his 15-point army here.
I picked Mercs. It's all dwarves, running all dwarves all the time, all the way to 50, using Gordon's tier list. Right now I'm up to tier 2. Starts with Gordon, 3 jacks. I got 2 little gun bunnies, a gunner and a blaster. Got the driller for a little short-range counter charge. And got 2 units of Hammerfall high shields. One of them gets a free UA. It's very cool. I picked this army because I already had most of the models, yet I hadn't painted it. I intended to sell them, but since Rich came along with this brilliant idea, I decided I'd paint them up for this and then turn around and make a quick buck.
Alright, well, that was interesting. That was Big Matt, guys. We'll be back with the next person. We're here with the next Total War segment. This is Matt Baker. He's doing an retribution, so take it away, Matt.
Alright, first of all, I started with choosing the red. Something I've been wanting to build up for a long time. It was actually one of my top 3 choices when I first started playing the game. Initially started with Legion, but this is something I really wanted to do from the get-go. Whenever I went through all the casters, Callisto really stood out. She's a tool bag for all the stuff I wanted to do. I really wanted something with a little more range, and she does that perfectly. Ended up going with the Sentinels. I originally wanted to run 2 heavies in my 15-point list, but without any units, you really can't do that, so I was kind of forced to take the Sentinels just to be able to handle what everyone else was bringing to the table. I brought the Arcanist just to be able to help even out my point list. I was going to have 1 point left over no matter which way I tossed it with everyone I have on the table here. And then the Banshee is just awesome for handling other casters. Just about anyone that comes up on the table, he has something that he can throw out there against them. He's good at both melee and range, plus dealing with casters. And then last is Iris, Mage Hunter. She's pretty much awesome against shooting at anyone, and that's what I was going for, a shooty army. Alright.
Alright, guys, we're here with the next part of Total War. This is the Cricks army, and here's Melanie to tell you about it.
Okay, so I decided to do Cricks because the biggest problem I was having with my Circle army was dealing with weapon masters. So I decided to use an army that had a good many weapon masters available to them. So obviously I went with Cricks. I did go with a very non-conforming paint scheme here. I did the pink and purple because I wanted something that was not standard, and then I also wanted something kind of girly. So that's what I did. I did decide to go with Scar. Basically because her feat is really good. The whole, you can't attack me, you can't make attacks, to 5 different models is pretty amazing. And then, of course, I did take Death Jack with her. Because, what Crick's army wouldn't take Death Jack? He generates his own focus. Not all of it, but he does generate a couple of focus for each one of his arms that are intact, so that makes a big deal. So Scar can hold on to what she has if she wants to. And then, obviously, the Bane Thralls, because, once again, it's a weapon master thing. Want to have as many of those as possible. So, and then to make them a little better, and just because he's an amazing model himself, Bane Lord Tartarus. That's it.
Alright, guys. So, if you enjoyed all these Total War segments, and I got a little something to add at the end of it, but that's pretty much it, guys. So, have some battle reports coming for you soon. Hope you enjoyed, and keep posted for more of the Player's Handbook.